Hey everybody, I just wanted to quickly jump in. I filmed this video before we made it to 100K subscribers, so I just want to pop in and say thank you so much. Okay, enjoy the video.
Hey, what's up everybody? It's your girl Merle, or is it? Or maybe I'm Merle's lighter hair colored sister, Marge. Yeah, okay, it's me. And today I'm combining two passions of mine. I've been talking about this for a while. I love scary things. I just do. I love horror movies. I am kind of obsessed with true crime. You know, I am what I am. Pleased to meet you. So I figured why not combine cooking with spooky food? So we have like spooky food time, or like Merle's macabre menu. Let me know if you can think of a better like title for this. I've been trying to figure out how to do true crime in a way that feels right to me and not just like blatantly exploiting like trauma for entertainment. And I've seen people doing it really well out there in the YouTube world. So I figured I'd start with an older case, and it's a mystery before, you know, I mean, don't get me wrong, there is murder. Today we're gonna be talking about the Galapagos Affair. The story is wild. It doesn't even seem like it's real, but it is. My Favorite Murder did a hilarious episode on this, and there is a full-blown documentary on the Galapagos Affair if you want to watch and get like all the nitty-gritty details. Since we're talking about Galapagos Islands, I figured I would make some vegan ceviche. So please, sit right down, right there, enjoy. Or if you want to cook along with me, here's the recipe. If you feel like, you know, cooking while I'm cooking, and you can just listen to me storytell in the meantime. This recipe does call for cilantro, but I'm not using it because I hate cilantro so much, oh so much. Without further ado, let's hop right into the story and let's get to cooking. This all takes place in 1929. So our story starts off with one Dr. Frederick Ritter and his lover and patient, Dora Strouch. He was her doctor, she was his patient. That's how that usually goes. They were both married and they left their partners and told their partners to take care of each other. Can you imagine the audacity of being like,
we are in love now, so I'm not gonna stay with you anymore, but she had a husband and you're my wife, so maybe you two could.
like what? So they flee, they decide to leave to the island of Floriana in the Galapagos Islands. The Galapagos Islands are a small chain of islands in the Pacific Ocean off the western coast of Ecuador. They are rocky, dry, hot, and home to many interesting species of animals found nowhere else in the world. Dora had MS, and a lot of people in her life were telling her, you're kind of doomed with this disease, like there's no way to overcome it. Dr. Ritter was really gung-ho on Nietzsche beliefs in mind over matter. He subscribed to a mostly plant-based, or at least vegetable-heavy diet. He liked the practice of nudism. One of his stark beliefs was in the practice of mastication, which is basically like how you can chew your way to wellness. Sorry that I'm like waving this knife around. So because of his obsession with mastication, his teeth were in horrible shape. So bad that he had them yanked out. All of his teeth pulled out. So now he's gumming it. As if that's not bad enough, he also convinced Dora to let him take her teeth out too, with gardening tools. And he has a stainless steel pair of dentures. So now Dora is shacking up with Jaws from James Bond. Oh God. Him and Dora have to share these dentures. He had kind of promised Dora an image of paradise, but it turns out life on the island's really tough. It's a lot of manual labor, and don't forget, she suffers from MS, so a lot of this manual labor is really, really hard on her. The honeymoon phase is over, basically. Dora was thinking they'd be sipping pina coladas out of coconuts, and meanwhile, now her teeth are gone, they're sharing dentures, and he's forcing her to move rocks around the island in 100-degree weather. Instagram versus reality. But anyway, people were so intrigued by them that there were some scientists who were going to study some of the very rare species in one of the islands in the Galapagos, and they stopped by to meet these people, and they welcomed them back onto their ship and got dinner, music and dancing, and I guess Dora really enjoyed the music and the dancing, and of course Krabby Jones, Dr. Ritter, didn't like that. Why you gotta be so rude? August 1932. Heinz and Margaret Whitmer bring their son Harry Whitmer along with them to the island. Oh, and did I mention that Margaret is 5 months pregnant? And she's like, how convenient, there'll be a doctor on the island to help me give birth. They're amped to see this cottagecore Adam and Eve, and instead they end up finding these two cranky, nude, toothless wonders who just want to be left alone. What a mood. Frankly, Dr. Ritter and Dora don't want them there. And to make matters worse, they were like openly unhappy about it. They're like,
This is our island, bitches. Back off.
Dora specifically thought that Margaret was like basic. But like, Dora, come on, look at your life, look at your choices. Got no teeth. You let this man pull them out with gardening tools. Dr. Ritter is like, all right, fine, I'll hook you guys up. He walks them an hour away into these old pirate caves where it's probably like damp and creepy. They developed some healthy boundaries with each other. You know, they respected each other, but they didn't need to be like eating dinner together every night. And to be honest, I don't think it would have been any fun to watch Dr. Ritter and Dora eat dinner at all, ever. The old 1-2 chew and switch, not cute. So after some time, life in Floriana is harmonious. They even learn to live with each other and without each other, and it's all good until the baroness. Her full name is Eloise Werborn de Wagner Bosquet, or maybe Bosquet. She rolls up on a donkey touting a revolver, flanked by her 2 German lovers, Robert Philipson and Rudolf Lorenz. So she rolls up to the Whitmers, right? And she's like, yes, me and my men are going to occupy your orange grove over there. I don't know what that accent is. Okay. Then she proceeds to like have one of her manservants wash her feet in their drinking water. She's wild. The Whitmers are like, oh, you just wait till you meet the Ritters. They are a hoot. They're gonna love you. Yeah, you gotta know it's not gonna be good. So she pulls up to the Ritters, sits in their lawn chair. She's like, what up, bitches? What's going on? How's it hanging? She liked to wear a lot of mesh see-through tops too, so like, she was free in the nipples way before it was trendy. Unfortunately, Dr. Ritter and Dora found her to be vulgar and annoying. Dr. Ritter especially hated the fact that she was planning to basically make like a Miami out of their quiet, beautiful little island. So he writes to the governor of San Cristobal. And in 1933, the governor actually visits to meet this terrible woman, right? And naturally, she charms the pants off him, and he ends up granting her like 4 acres of land and like gives everybody else less land. Just based off what I've heard, she just sounds like a pretty textbook narcissist. I don't know, I can't diagnose her, I'm not an expert, but it's what it sounds like. People aren't getting along very well, if you can imagine. Dr. Ritter is writing all these letters and articles to the papers and to Germany. The Baroness, they believe, was intercepting some of these letters and essentially writing herself into them as like this really hot main character. She becomes a celebrity and like everybody's like, holy moly. I mean, the couple was cool, but now there's like a hot dominatrix Baroness that like runs around with her boobs swinging around and like carries a revolver riding a donkey. Come on, you know you'd want to see that. Then, plot twist, it comes out that she's not even a baroness at all. She was a cabaret dancer. Now, even though Lorenz was with her first, it turns out that she really didn't treat him very well. She kind of turned him into her like manservant. He would like clean the livestock, feed the livestock, take care of stuff around the house, and Philipson was like her little plaything. Eventually, it was just like a lot of hate towards Lorenz and like even beatings for Lorenz from her and conducted by Philipson. It was just really bad. There's like this Captain Hancock, who comes to the island and brings a bunch of gifts for everyone, but like mostly for the Baroness because she's a hot chick. She even convinces Captain Hancock to make a silent film about her. You can watch it in the documentary as well. It's hilarious. Ritter doesn't like all this extra attention she's getting. He's fed up. He doesn't think that they need all this materialistic crap. He doesn't want people on the island, especially Dora, to be getting excited about material clothes or jewelry or anything like that when she's supposed to be focusing on their simplistic, nude, stainless steel life. There were rumors that Heinz Whitmer was having an affair with the Baroness, and that Dr. Ritter might even have had a couple dalliances with her himself. I mean, it's a small island with a few people. Who knows? The women could have been swinging too. I have no idea. I wasn't there. So just keep that in mind, because of course that's also going to add to the tension on the island. But sadly, all the sexiness would end in 1933 because of the drought. It was a year-long drought, and it was said to be like 120 degrees Fahrenheit in the shade. That's 48 degrees Celsius. There's not a lot of water. They all share one stream. Tensions are getting real high, baby, real high. The relationship between Philipson, Lorenz, and the Baroness is becoming more and more toxic. So much so that Lorenz is actually fleeing the Baroness's camp from time to time to run to the Whitmers because of all the beatings he's receiving. It's sad. Margaret Whitmer was particularly close with Lorenz, and apparently he would cry to her quite often. So She was really not feeling the baroness, especially if she's shacking up with her husband once in a while. Just a rumor. So it's 1934. They haven't seen a single person in 4 months. No ships coming in with resources for them or any goods, any water, any food. Dora and Dr. Ritter are hiding in their encampment, shading themselves from the heat when they hear what they described as an inhumane shrieking sound. Sounded like a woman screaming. Not long afterwards, they see Margaret Whitmer, who claims that the Baroness and Philipson have just fled. They've just left. A ship swung by, picked them up, and now they're off to Tahiti. And basically, Lorenz was just left behind. Maybe she'd be back, maybe she wouldn't. Dora's even more shocked when she visits the Baroness's camp and realizes that all of her possessions are still there, including her prized possession. And that was the book, The Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde. No way would she leave this here. She's about to be on a boat to Tahiti. She definitely wants to read while she's going there, you know? And also, they didn't see any ships coming. They were all looking for ships on the horizon because no one had been there for months. I mean, also the blood-curdling scream that they heard, you know, there was also that. When they talk to Lorenz, he says he wants to sell some of the Baroness's things because he wants to get the heck out of there and he doesn't need all her stuff. Now, Dora and Dr. Ritter are already pretty suspicious of Lorenz and Margaret Whitmer. It didn't help that Dora noticed that Margaret Whitmer already had the Baroness's tablecloth spread out on her table, dressing her cave with all of the Baroness's things. She's over it. Sayonara, see you later. She doesn't seem like she thinks she's coming back, is what I'm saying. So Dora and Dr. Ritter are thinking, oh yikes, we could be next. Times are getting desperate. People are thirsty and hungry and tired and angry. Then, in April of 1934, it finally rains, ending the drought. That's a little bit of a relief. And at this point, Lorenz has made it clear that he wants to get off this island yesterday. Have a great summer. Peace. Nice knowing you. Goodbye. In July of 1934, a boat finally comes, and Lorenz is like, yay! It's a fishing vessel, and they agree to take Lorenz on with them. So when Lorenz arrives in Santa Cruz, he then catches another ship to San Cristobal. He doesn't even stop, enjoy just being in another island without scary people. Now, everyone's telling him,
Do not take that ship to San Cristobal because it's Friday the 13th. Nobody in their right minds sails or boats on Friday the 13th. It's a big no-no. It's bad luck.
but Lorenz insists. He is raring to go. I don't know what's there for him, but he's excited about it. So they leave, they take off, and then the ship disappears. Yeah, I know, what? It's like once the craziest things start happening, it's just boom, 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 boom. Now, the strangeness does not end there. In November of that same year, 7 months after the disappearance of Lorenz, Dr. Ritter and Dora are getting a little bit desperate on their camp. Their pigs died, and then they fed the pig meat to the chickens, and then the chickens died. And they didn't want to just totally waste all the food, so they skinned the chickens, they took the meat and they boiled it and put it in some jars to preserve it, believing that they could boil out the toxins of whatever illness killed the pigs and then the chickens. Now, Dr. Strauch and Dora go on to eat this chicken meat. Apparently they offered it to the Whitmers too, and the Whitmers were like, oh no.
Thanks though.
But it was actually a good idea because Dr. Ritter ended up having horrible stomach pains, debilitating stomach pains. Nonetheless, Dr. Ritter does end up dying from this food poisoning. And Dora will go on to say,
I ate it too, and I was totally fine, so I don't know what happened.
But their diaries at the time tell very different stories. Dora told the story of her tending to Dr. Ritter until his last breath, staying close to him and whispering sweet nothings in his ear. Meanwhile, Margaret Whitmer told a different story. She was like,
No, they pretty much hated each other towards the end there.
Margaret Whitmer even believes that Dora didn't actually eat the poisoned chicken at all. She gave it to Dr. Ritter and then allowed him to die because she also thought it was weird that Dora waited so long to get Ritter any help. Apparently she waited the whole night before ringing any alarm bells about Dr. Ritter's condition. Dr. Ritter was vegetarian to begin with. Maybe he was desperate, we don't know. And also he was the veteran of the island. He was the one who was in full-on survival mode. And so you'd think he'd know better than to eat some spoiled chicken meat. It just seems odd. I don't know. Who could say? Lord knows Dora put up with her fair share from this Dr. Ritter character. And I am not saying that murder is the right course of action, but I'm saying I wouldn't be surprised if she had finally had enough. And Dr. Ritter even wrote that he cursed Dora with his dying breath in his journal. Which, like, whoa, you have to really dislike someone for that to be like on the top of priorities for you to do as you're slowly dying. Now, some months later, Lorenz and the man kind enough to take him to San Cristobal turn up on the island of Marchena, which is nowhere near San Cristobal or Santa Cruz. They more than likely died of thirst. Now, Dora ends up leaving the island with good old Captain Hancock and returns to society. Dora's like,
See you never. This was fun and all, but like, not really.
She does, however, make an effort to publish Dr. Ritter's papers, saying that she believes him to be one of the greatest geniuses of our time. Unfortunately, the publishing of these papers didn't actually go anywhere, but that's not really the point. It was the thought that counts, right? And like, he'll never know. The Whitmers actually end up staying on the island and thriving. They make the island of Floriana their home, and there are still Whitmers that live there to this day. They have a hotel, they're in the documentary. They're basically like, I'm gonna own this. This is my place, this is where I'm meant to be, and they carried on for generations there, and still do to this day. And the bodies of the Baroness and Philipson were never found, ever again. It's just like, what is going on here? What happened here? So many odd events following each other, you know what I mean? I highly recommend, if you're curious at all about this story, that you go ahead and like watch the full documentary. It's an interesting watch and it has a lot of details to it. Thank you so much for joining me for my first episode of the Spooky Food Time thing. Again, please help me think of a better name for this series. I feel like we can do better. If there are other cases you'd like me to cover, just send them my way. I'm looking more towards like the dark history feel than just like straight up true crime stuff, but I don't know, we can try it out, we'll see. I'm curious to see what you guys think of this first episode anyway. So if you like food and you like spooky stories, or you're just like me, go ahead and subscribe, hit the like button, and join our little family we got going here. That makes me sound like this is like a cult, but I have a Discord too. If you want to hang out with me in the Discord, please click the link below. Let's take a bite of this. Ooh, baby. Ooh, this has got quite the zip to it too. I love it. Very, very good. Very refreshing. Perfect for summertime. You guys are the greatest. I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye now.